Celebrities you didn't know were Jewish. Jack Black, kind of thought he was Jewish. Aaron Taylor Johnson. Jennifer Connelly, who was in Top Gun 2. Scarlett Johansson, didn't know that one. Mom is Jewish, apparently. Julia Gardner from Ozarks, right? Didn't know she was Jewish. Taika Waititi, the director of one of the Thor movies, at least, maybe more. Pink, didn't know she was Jewish. Jason Isaacs, didn't know. Allison Hannigan. Jake Gyllenhaal. Now that's a surprise. I did not know Jake Gyllenhaal was Jewish. Drake. Now Drake, I guess one of his parents is Jewish. I did not know that one at all. But somehow it doesn't surprise me. Emily Rossum. Gwyneth Paltrow. Bonus Chris Martin as well. So the husband, Chris Martin, who is the lead singer of Coldplay, both of them are Jewish. Harrison Ford. Didn't know that one. Sarah Michelle Gellar. Not Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Didn't expect that one. Andrew Garfield. He's the new Spider-Man. Well, maybe not the newest Spider-Man, but he was a Spider-Man fairly recently. Daniel Radcliffe. I can see that, from Harry Potter. Zoe Deutsch. I don't even know who that is. Timothy Chalamet. He's a new star that came up past few years. That was in Dune. I didn't know he was Jewish though. Rashida Jones from The Office. Zoe Kravitz, who is the daughter of Lenny Kravitz. Winona Ryder. Should have seen Winona Ryder. Oddly enough, Winona Ryder did a recent interview in which she said that she's experienced anti-Semitism in Hollywood and talked about stories or whatever. And I was like, anti-Semitism in Hollywood. Everybody's Jewish. Now, this list is not about the obvious Jewish individuals in Hollywood, but the ones that maybe you didn't suspect, because, obviously we know the Spielbergs and these people are Jewish. Also, it's to highlight how many people are Jewish in Hollywood. Now, this goes beyond this is the actors, but like the lawyers involved. Remember when I was getting sued by Jim Carrey and all the lawyer list of that law firm that sent me the cease and desist? Now, that law firm handles a lot of Hollywood business, and they're all Jewish. And so are like a lot of the directors, the screenwriters, everybody involved at different levels of Hollywood are of Jewish descent. Now, you guys are thinking, well, what do you mean by that? Is that a bad thing? Who cares? I'm like, oh, no. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, okay? It's nothing wrong with that. I got Jewish friends. It's fine. What I'm saying is that, like Kanye and other people that have highlighted that get kind of silenced. I just want to highlight that it is true. It really is true. There's a lot of Jewish people. And I think when someone succeeds in a certain avenue, right? Like maybe, I don't know, people from India and gas stations, right? You bring in family, you teach your kin, you bring them in to what you know. And eventually it becomes a situation where a disproportionate amount of gas stations are owned by people of Indian descent, a disproportionate amount of people, of Jewish descent, maybe in Hollywood or in the jewelry trade. Things like this happen. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think the problem with media in Hollywood being controlled by one group of people, it's just because that becomes the dominant way of thinking, right? And it has such a strong influence on people in the entire world, not just in the United States. And there's nowhere else to go, right? Hollywood dominates film, and, a couple of Jewish individuals own a lot of the news media. So it's kind of a monopoly on information. Now, there's a lot of influence also on social media, same thing. So this just becomes worrisome, because if you have a message that goes against the status quo, it's going to get suppressed. We've seen that time and time again. So you have to just ask questions and try to feed yourself and educate yourself with media that is not necessarily controlled by that same group. And just because you choose an alternate source of media doesn't mean there's something wrong with that. It just means you want a diverse perspective. Like Abito, you want something different. You want to make sure that you're getting coverage for something different. And I see this in the media, in interviews, like journalists have an insane power to twist the narrative and feed you the information. You can read an article and you can be upset at one person. You read a different article, you're upset at the other party, just based on how the information is relayed, how the article is printed, written. The same thing, even more so maybe with television media, social media. It's just worrisome. It's worrisome. And, we're going to talk about it. And I want to talk about also a lot of things about how different cultures kind of were so heavily influenced by, say, the Democratic Party. Like, I think we had a discussion with someone talking about why a lot of Jewish people are liberal and how far back that goes and how that kind of got introduced. And I'm like, well, we can talk about that. And maybe I should do a video about it because it's quite interesting. And, because someone else was talking about how Adam Sandler was conservative. And I was like, yeah, there's a few. Adam Sandler, there's that guy who talks a lot of politics, goes to colleges. What's his name? Even wears the little thing on the radio shows and stuff that are Jewish. But Hollywood is very strange because it's such an in-group that people don't realize. It seems like there's so many actors, there's so many movies being made, but it's all being made by a very small group of people, production houses. And like Hollywood is small. It's very in-group. And it's hilarious. There's such a small group of people control the distribution and manufacturing and making of films across the world. But this is the case in Hollywood. And I really appreciate you guys watching. And as always, buy red and so green.